Hello everyone, this is ponderonweather coming at you with another video. In this update, we're talking about a major winter storm, and also I've got a big announcement to make. So before I do get started, if you do like weather related content, please subscribe to my channel as I will upload daily updates to keep you ahead of the storm. And I do ask you to share this video with your friends and family on social media. All right, so let's get started. The big announcement is I'm actually going to be the TV weather guy on Saturday coming up for Texas Weather Tracker TV in my local Dallas market. I'm extremely grateful for this opportunity. I start next Saturday, the 23rd, and we can be found. It's an all-weather station, 100% weather. I can be found on Roku, Apple TV, and Amazon Fire. And also they have an app you can download on your phone. Just search for Texas Weather Tracker TV. But yeah, I'm extremely grateful for this opportunity. So I'm going to be doing a noon show on Saturday and also another noon show at on 12 and 4 o'clock. And that'll just replay, actually 24 hours. So if you don't catch it live, you can watch it anytime, just like you can on YouTube here. And then before the Sunday guy comes in and kind of takes over for his show on Sunday. But yeah, I'm extremely grateful. So you can check me out there. And of course, I'll always be here on YouTube with the latest for your nationwide. So hey, let's talk about this next winter storm. Here's the next watches and warnings. And we've got a huge swath of high wind warnings and watches for a good chunk of Montana, extended into Wyoming, and a good chunk of the Dakotas, into Nebraska, and it'll extend all the way into Kansas, where they're expecting some extremely high winds with this system coming up. Now let's take a look at the upper levels and where this storm's going to come to fruition. We can see a developing trough trying to dig, but look at the blue line. It kind of elongates and traverses along the Canadian coast. In the beginning, that's where it's going to play. Down here to the south, you see a little bit of a troughiness, but underneath, there's not much actually reaching the surface with that feature. But the main focus is going to be this segment up here into northern parts of Montana, and this will continue moving off through the east throughout the week. But by Thursday, the jet stream will buckle into a U-shaped formation, and you can see the cold air will try to extend. And a lot of the precipitation will be around the low pressure, and that's where most of the snow is going to fall. But it's going to be a quick buckle. So it'll extend south into the Midwest and then kind of retreat as we go throughout the week. We're trying to bring that colder air a little bit further south, but again, it'll try to retreat with the colder air. And it looks good at the upper levels because this low will actually to traverse off the northeast coast, but it'll lose a lot of the cold air by then. But unfortunately, along the coast, this will just be mainly a rain event for you guys in the northeast. But there are going to be some elevated snows into the interior regions of the northeast, especially into Canada. So let's kind of walk you through the details and kind of look at the surface map of what's actually happening at the surface, because that's actually where we live. And underneath, you see we've got some snow breaking out for this afternoon, coming into northern parts of Canada, where that low is going to be moving off to the east. And by Thursday morning, look at the isobars. Man, they really start to tighten up. You've got high pressure underneath, low pressure up top. You got that divergence. You've got that high gradient. And where these isobars are really tightening up, and that's where you're going to find these extreme winds. And we'll show you this here in a little bit. And they can be gusting at 70, almost 90 miles per hour in spots. And this will continue moving off to the east, dumping some snow into portions of Montana, into the Dakotas by then. And could be talking like a ground blizzard in some of these areas on the backside with these blowing and drifting snow. Because look at these extreme winds. We're talking Wednesday afternoon, later on today. These are gusts, and these are knots. I mean, we're talking upwards to 100 mile per hour gust in some spots. I mean, so sustained winds are probably more like in the lines of 50 to 60 mile per hour. But you can have some gust up between 70 and 90 mile per hour wind gusts as this will continue moving across for a good chunk of Montana, Wyoming, and even on the higher elevations, the Chinook winds into Colorado. So you're going to be experiencing 75 plus mile per hour wind gust and those areas in the higher elevations of the foothills of Colorado. And this will continue moving off as that storm system really tries to get its act together. And I really think it kind of sets up shop around Minneapolis, Minnesota. I think you're going to be like the bullseye with this particular system. You could be seeing 10 plus inches of snow with this system, and this will try to extend further south as we progress into the deeper in the day on Friday, because this snow will start to kind of break out and try to extend into Iowa, getting into Wisconsin. Now we're talking portions of Dakotas and South Dakotas, and even to the eastern regions of Nebraska. And the winds will too still be a effect. They'll modify a little bit, but there'll still be a good chunk extended into Nebraska with some very elevated winds of 50 to 60 mile per hour and even higher gust from there. So man, like I said, on the backside, any of that snow that does fall in these areas will just be kind of a ground blizzard, and it's almost like whiteout conditions. Even though it may not be snowing at the time, on the backside, that's where you get those extreme winds. So definitely look out for that. That's why we have those high wind warnings in a place. But as you can see, by Friday morning, this will try to extend as that jet stream buckles in a kind of a horseshoe shape, and it'll be a quick buckle. It's only about a day or two, so it'll be really quick. And now it's trying to extend a little bit further southward than it was yesterday. So we are going to be including more regions in Missouri into the snow action as it tries to retreats back up to the northeast. And you can see by Friday evening, that snow line will try to extend deeper and further south. So places like St. Louis may pick up some snow for the system. Rolla, Missouri. I do think you're going to be maybe getting an inch of snow from this system, but this will try to retreat into Illinois, and then lessen as we get into Indiana, and especially Ohio. As this low retreats, it loses a lot of the cold air, and where the center of that low is going to be, that's where most of the precipitation falls in the form of snow. And on the southeast side, that's where you're going to be seeing some of the abundance of rain, because you can see by the time we get into Saturday, and by the time it reaches into the mid-Atlantic, yeah, we might have some backside precipitation, but it's really going to be just kind of a dusting inch, maybe 2 inches in spots into Kentucky as we get into Virginia. So I'm not really expecting a big event for you guys. And you see it's more like an all-rain event for the Carolinas as we extend into Delaware, Jersey, extending along the coast, because there's not much cold air by then, because a lot of the cold air retreats back up into Canada, and on the south side it looks trophiness underneath, but by the time it gets to the surface, it loses a lot of that cold air, and it's mainly going to be a rain event on the coastal regions of the Northeast, but then a heavier snow event as it taps into some of that cold air and makes that transition into the higher elevations. And this is by Saturday, the 16th. You can see a lot of that rain on the south side, but on the interior regions, we will have some snow breaking out into New York, as we get into Vermont, as we get into New Hampshire, and extending the northern portions of Maine, like places like Caribou. And then it really intensify as we go into Canada, like places like Montreal, going into Quebec. I mean, we're probably talking double-digit snowfalls for your areas up in that region. But this will try to extend, and as it extends, there's always a backside precipitation with these systems. And you can see we might try to get a little bit of a lake effect just on the backside, just squeeze out any available moisture that is left into the Ohio Valley, getting into West Virginia. Places like Pittsburgh might see an inch or two. So this is probably not a big event for you guys in the mid-Atlantic, but it is going to be a little bit elevated snows into just mostly the interior regions as we get into Vermont, New Hampshire, and especially northern parts of Maine, as we kind of keep extending. Again, the backside tries to bring some of the snowfall down in the northern Jersey, getting into Connecticut and Massachusetts, but it'll lose a lot of its effect, and there's not much going to be cold air going to be still trying to dam into this system because it's mainly going to be a rain event on the coastal regions and more of an interior snow event as we get into the New England coast. But now let's kind of take a look at some of the snowfall totals underneath. Here's a map of the north central U.S. We can take a look at where that blowing and drifting snow is going to be in Montana, getting into Wyoming with a good 2 to 4 inches. And as we extend northward, possibly towards Canada, upwards of 6 inches. But as we kind of traverse across in North Dakota, maybe 2 to 4 inches. But the bullseye is mainly going to be around Minneapolis. We're talking 9+ inches. And then just kind of a bullseye of a 6 to 10 inch swath, trying to extend in the northern portions of Iowa. And this will extend into Wisconsin with a good 2 to 4, possibly 6 inches upwards in central and northern Wisconsin. But as this low tries to dip further, it loses a lot of the snow amounts, but it will try to extend into Missouri. Like I mentioned, places like St. Louis, places like Rolla, Missouri. I think that's where it kind of stops, maybe an inch with this system. That's as good as you can get. But you can see it quickly retreats central and northern Illinois with 1 to 2 inches. It retreats further as this low pressure retreats 1 to 2 inches in Indiana, into the Ohio Valley and central and northern portions of Ohio. You can see here Michigan, we've got 4 to 6 inches, a little bit lighter amounts on the south side because that low kind of retreats, and this will extend into places of the mid-Atlantic. So these are some of your higher elevation snows. So these are Virginia's, the Appalachian Mountains, going into places like Pittsburgh, like I mentioned, maybe an inch or two out of this system. But it'll lose a lot of the cold air because all this is rain along the coast, unfortunately, as we go into the northeast by then. And you can see this where that low is, and that's where the low is going to be because it really dips further and kind of re-intensifies as it taps into that colder air getting into Canada. And that's where we can see some double-digit snowfall totals, but that's going to be in Canada, places like Montreal and upwards north. We are going to try to get those 6 to 10 inch swath into places like Vermont and New Hampshire, but a good chunk of the central and northern parts of, say, Caribou, Maine, nothing for Bangor, but it'll be mainly an interior event and just a rain event on the coastal regions for the Northeast by Monday. So, man, that's the big announcement. I appreciate you guys watching, and do like this video. Definitely leave your comments below, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel to catch the latest update where I protect you before and after the storm.